Taurus, it's Marina from the Butterfly Effect. This is your reading for June 2024. On the dice you have got the 5th house, romance, pleasure, joy, sex, children, projects, creativity, all good stuff. And Venus, love, romance, money, pleasure, enjoyment, unification, harmony. All looks very lovely. Not really seeing that so much in the reading. That's maybe where our focus is going to be in the month. The Oracle card is Seek Beauty. So let me read this to you. It's number 44. This is a time to reflect on love and to seek out beauty. Create memories. Take time to enjoy your experiences, celebrations and special occasions. The recollection of happy moments will support you. Look not only in the world around you but also within. Seek out the loving qualities that you appreciate about yourself and search for your own beauty. Look at yourself and the world around you from a new perspective. I think the new perspective is really relevant. At the base of the deck I did have a fresh approach. So it may mean a fresh approach in terms of what, you find beautiful, or what gives you pleasure, or maybe, a new romance, something like that. Central issue for the month, we have got the Death card with the 4 of Cups. We have got the Clouds with the Man. So either this is the man I'm reading for, or this is a masculine in your life. The Death card is saying that there is something ended. I feel that it's almost ended through a lack of interest, a lack of doing. And we may be confused about that with the clouds coming through. This may be somebody who's left you confused, created some sort of trouble, or maybe some sort of suspicion. Or that may be, just the dynamic between the two of you at the minute, if it's just you and one other person. But I just feel with the 4 of Cups here, it's almost like something's just slipped away, because we haven't taken, maybe the opportunity or made enough effort, because the 4 of Cups is a very apathetic card, It's like nothing's worth doing, nothing's particularly interesting, just doesn't light your fire. We have got the Ace of Wands in reverse here. So I don't know if this is coming from you, but it is the central issue for the month. Now it can be that something's ended and we're left dissatisfied and we don't know why. Yeah, but the Clouds card is, things being disturbed, but also being really confused, sometimes deliberately so. Yeah, I think there's something in that. The Crossing card, the obstacle, the difficulty is maybe getting back out there with the Hermit card and the Mask. It almost feels about trying to, reintegrate yourself into society, because the environment is one where that is difficult. Literally events and meetings, parties, socializing. It's difficult in some way, for whatever reason, and it may well be you're just getting over a relationship loss or whatever, but I don't know. This is saying that the Hermit is the difficulty, is the obstacle, is the thing that we have to deal with, and that is basically becoming less withdrawn, more integrated, more visual. So there is a feeling of kind of hiding here. There's almost a fear in actual fact. 7 of Swords, 7 of Wands coming up in the fear position. There's almost a fear of sort of maybe getting back out there. Maybe we have been away for a while in some way, or just, disengaged, disinterested, dealing with the loss. I honestly think somebody may have had a touch of depression here, or it may be, more of a kind of, it feels kind of physically draining, because up here is the Ace of Wands reverse and the Coffin card. The Coffin does speak of endings. It says a potential outcome, but it's also in the headspace, but it's also illness and, misfortune. Generally, it's a pretty challenging card. I feel with the Ace of Wands, again, one, it's a kind of lack of interest, a lack of motivation, a lack of energy. It's also kind of being out of ideas. I can say there is actually an opportunity there, and either we're letting it slip away through inaction or disinterest, but it can also mean that we're just not sufficiently motivated to, take any action on it, because we may be feeling really low. We may be dealing with a physical illness that saps our energy, that leaves us kind of, it feels drudgy. It feels really drudgy. In the past here, I'm just going to go there first. I am seeing it underneath it all. I see I'm going to go there and then I do this. The Tower reversed, and yeah. So this is like, you know, it can be the breakdown of a relationship or a contract or an agreement. The Tower is in reverse though, so it's almost like we haven't quite, it's not quite blown up yet, you know. I almost feel we're maybe kind of walking on eggshells. We might be trying to maintain something that's probably not maintainable when the Tower comes through. I feel that it's like it can be avoiding the inevitable either revelation or destruction of something, and yeah, and I don't know if that's what's happening or it's just in the subconscious that, you know, there is something that's kind of dissatisfying, and it is something that's ultimately ending, and we're not really interested in it anymore. We may have had a lot of introspection or a lot of you know, time to think, but I feel also that the mask coming through here and the obstacle is that we're putting a face on things. We're not being maybe genuinely honest with ourselves or people around us about how we feel, because it may well be upsetting the apple cart even more than it maybe already is, possibly. So in the past here, we've got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, we've got the Key, and we've got the Tower. So this can say there's been some sort of resolution in terms of either business or, you know, if you're dealing with like the government or an institution or a, you know, a large organization. It feels worky with the Knight of Pentacles being in reverse. It can say that there has been difficulties in terms of, you know, getting work in the past or getting paid well. But honestly, the Knight of Pentacles is very slow, and when he's in reverse, it's something has come to an absolute stop here. Again, there's this feeling of kind of inertia, you know, of not doing or not being able to do something that maybe motivates us. It's very discouraging. So there might have been a retirement, might have been a layoff in the past here. It's something that was ultimately resolved. I don't see it as something enormously negative with the Key, because that's usually a positive resolution in terms of something that yeah, I mean, I don't think it was, maybe wasn't particularly satisfying, because the Knight of Pentacles does like to work, you know, is very diligent, very loyal. It's literally his, you know, meaning in life is for him to do uncomplaining hard work. Excuse the dog. Bob, go. Yeah. So the ultimate, I do feel that has been resolved relatively satisfactory, but it's almost like if, you know, if you left work or, I don't know, something to do with money back here. It's just that everything here is dull. And yet there has been, you know, obviously big changes in terms of a contract or a relationship and whatnot. And I just sort of feel that we don't know where to go. We don't know where to go. That is literally it. Because the Taurus, I say Capricorn, I see the Devil. The Taurus I'm reading for is actually the Devil in June 2024. This is your energy. Obviously, it's a general reading. Yes, it can be the cross watcher or, you know, flip reading. That's for you to work out. But the Devil means we are in some way, I think we're feeling very oppressed. There may be some sort of sexual repression going on here as well. I mean, obviously we've got the 5th house and we've got Venus, and that's maybe something that's not happening quite yet. I'm going to say again, but I mean, the only cups in this reading is the 4, and there's no swords whatsoever. So it's like, I want to see where's your head at. So yeah, the focus is possibly on the material realm, on our finances. And yet, I mean, initially, this looks really good, because coming up, immediate future, 10 of Pentacles, it's like the best wealth card in the deck here. So I don't know if you're dealing with, you know, a big lump sum of money. It can be property for sure. It may be indeed an inheritance for some of you. This may not be something you're aware of just yet, because it is coming, it is in the immediate future, and it doesn't seem to represent this whole section, which all feels a bit blah. And obviously 10 of Pentacles is just something that we're pretty excited about, you know, and it's coming through with the Home and the Anchor. So yeah, I mean, Venus can be about, you know, money and spending and pleasure. So there may be either buying a property, or it can be inheriting a property. The Anchor card is if it's not the job, because I feel that that's kind of gone there. But I mean, you know, it could, I don't see a new job or anything like that. It just feels that in some way we're going to be solidifying our financial future, and that's where the focus is at. I see that's where the focus is at. But I feel that somebody wants more than that. But this may be just what you have to deal with, you know, in the month of June, is to sort out something on the financial front. It's coming in, it's big wealth, it is, you know, more than likely property, or it can be that we are, you know, putting down roots. The anchor card's also about achieving goals, so, you know, we've had the journey, we've had the ship card, we've made the trade, and then this is like settling on something. So yeah, I mean, that looks incredibly positive. So see, the Devil card is a bit of an issue because it means that we are, I mean, it can be following our material pursuits, you know, to the nth degree. Our focus is all about the money and all about sex sometimes. But it can usually mean that our desires are overpowering our judgment in some way. I feel that that's a loss of direction for somebody. There's a loss of direction here. There's a feeling that something's eating away at you, something's creating, you know, maybe a little bit of stress with the mice card. But the mice card is about loss, and it's also about fatigue, and it's worry, and it's distrust, and this is us. And we do have a fear that something's going to be taken away, because we have the Seven of Swords and the fear here that we're going to have to fight for something, compete for something. You know, again, it could be in terms of this property or this inheritance or this money or this job or this person, but there's a feeling that we're going to have to defend ourselves. So just bear in mind, Taurus, that you're coming through as the Devil, and that means that you're overly fixated on something. Yes, it can relate to addictions, and there is definitely something going on sexually, repression wise, but there's also money, and there's big money here. So I just feel that there needs to be some kind of balance, because the environment is the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the Five of Pentacles in reverse can, I mean, given that we've got the Ten of Pentacles coming up in the future, you know, we have got like feast and famine here, that can mean some sort of restitution. I feel that somebody has a decision to make, a path to choose, a direction to go in, and it may well be about, again, kind of integrating socially, because the public, I'm saying public health, it doesn't need to be that. It feels like there's maybe a meeting, a gathering, an event. It just feels like it's not easy for someone to socially interact. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if the motivation is there. If it is financial, I see it as something that's relatively positive. I mean, sometimes you can read the Five of Pentacles in that, you know, things have gotten worse, you know, the fear of financial loss has manifested, yeah, the falling off their crutches. I don't really feel that. I feel this is more, I don't think the money's the issue. If you think it's the issue now, it's not going to be the issue. I feel this is just a loss of direction, and I do think there's something to do with being seen, being sociable, and yeah, getting back out there, or, you know, going to like a specific event, for example. Now in the hopes, we have got the Sun in reversed. Again, I'm coming back to this Ace of Wands, and that, yeah, and we've got another coffin here. So I do think there could be something to do with someone's, you know, it can be sickness, it can be mental health. It feels like we're hoping for maybe a return to vitality here. We might just be hoping for good weather. We're hoping to understand something, to see things clearly. We're also hoping for something to end. Now, you may have some gripe with, this can be an enemy combination, the Mountain and the Bear. It can be that there, you know, some dispute, which is literally the outcome, the Five of Wands up here. You may be hoping that that gets resolved, that it's over. You don't need to fight anymore. You don't need to fear that something's going to be taken away from you. I mean, there is some shenanigans going on here. That may be literally what you're fearing with the Seven of Swords, that there's some sort of scheme or plot underway and you have to defend yourself at work, with a friend, with a colleague, or, you know, someone else has a similar ambition or goal as you do, and I think there's a fear that we're going to have to compete here. Now, this can speak about a boss retiring. Honestly, can I even say that? Well, I won't say specifically who, but I'll say that there's a hope that maybe somebody actually passes away here and we get the money. I'm just saying, it came into my mind when I saw it, so I'm just putting that out there. But again, it is a hope that maybe something gets resolved in terms of wealth, and you know, any kind of power struggle that's going on. But I think we're fearing that there are shenanigans afoot. Now, that I say the potential outcome is this, the near future is this, and the outcome is the Five of Wands. So we've got conflict here, we've got some sort of infighting, we've got competition, possibly jealousy, we've got the moon, the female, and again I'm coming back to something to do with mental health. This can be a very emotional month for you, Taurus, but it can also say that if it's not physical mental health, it's actually been rewarded with something, but it's something that's not going to come easy. It's not going to be handed to you in a plate, because I think there are other parties trying to achieve what you're trying to achieve, or trying to obtain what you're trying to obtain. Let me just take a wee bit more on that. Now, obviously this female can be you, or it can be a female in your life. It's more than likely a family member with the tree here. But this can also be like there's some sort of battle within the family in terms of somebody's health. The female, yeah, it's definitely family. The Ten of Cups in the upright, so that's fantastic. So that's emotional contentment. And there's marriage, and there's the, you know, the venue, the celebration, the wedding, the get together. So that literally could say that this is seeking beauty and, you know, coming out of your shell and going to some sort of event or meeting that, you know, you're not going to find easy. You don't think it's going to be easy. This could just be a family get together. I mean, you could all be fighting over, you know, going to the reading of a will. Let's see the reading of the will. There's the Wands reversed again. That is something else. Two different decks here. I've got Justice at the base of the deck in reverse here. So there's definitely some sort of contractual issue. Now, obviously it can be a relationship, but I feel with this combination it's more to do with property and inheritances. What else could it be? I mean, it can be like getting the top job, or I mean, it can even be, you know, like contractors in terms of doing work to your property. There's something not fair though when the Justice card is in reverse. I just think whatever we're dealing with is draining. If it's not, you know, depression or sickness, it's just draining. Like the amount of, we've got two fives, the amount of conflict. And yeah, so we've got 2 cups in reverse here. So we're not seeing eye to eye with one individual, with a group of people. We're just not on the same page. We don't have similar alliances. We don't have similar objectives. We're just not able to agree. Justice card reverse. There's a lack of agreement in possibly the family, the tree. And there's some money that's been held on to. Possibly it's saved, locked away. Tree. And there's basically, we're waiting on some sort of decision here now. I've got the 5 of Pentacles in the upright. So as much as the 5th house and I forget what the other bit was now. Venus, yeah. It seems like really light-hearted. It doesn't feel like a light-hearted month at all. It does not. So I'm going to take you some advice, Taurus, to see if that will help. Can't find my Angels and Ancestors decks. I'll use this one. What advice can you offer, Taurus, for this reading? Do you know, I don't even know if I said this, but at the beginning of the reading, which I found really odd, because again, I'm saying the 5th house and Venus is just such a lovely combination. I heard going to get along without you now. Yeah, I don't know how it sings. It's an old one. Sounds 70s. Going to get along without you now. Got along before I met you, and I'm going to get along without you now. So there you go. Told. Venus. Taurus. I'll get my mouth sorted yet. Okay, Taurus. All right, so there really might be something to do with, you know, a sick person here. This can be, you know, attending the bedside of someone who's very frail or very sick or who is likely to pass. That's not coming through in the cards, just to be clear. If it's something like that, it's something that's maybe already happened and now we're all squabbling over the money. The advice is not to accept less than you deserve, Taurus. And the advice, I really feel that needs to be in the upright, is to not be complacent, because I've got 2 Ace of Wands in reverse here. I've got a lack of direction and a fixation, possibly in the wrong place or elsewhere, when there may be more important matters to deal with in the month of June. We need to be less complacent, we need to be more active, and we need to be clear to not accept less than what we're due. There is like a pie that's to be divided up here, and Taurus is not to accept less than the equal share. Justice card in reverse, lest we end up in the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, I do think there is some sort of reward here, because this service card also does speak of being rewarded for, you know, services rendered, so to speak. Get along without you now. What's that about? Oh, bittersweet completion. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if somebody has passed in recently or in, you know, a while ago. I don't know. It just feels like they're with the Death card and the 4 of Cups. It doesn't need to be that. It can just be that something is ended here. It does involve some sort of grieving. Bittersweet is, you know, it's not disastrous, is it? It's just having to accept that there are sometimes hidden blessings, you know, in events that happen. That's probably why the Tower isn't really in the upright here, because we haven't sort of let something fully dissolve. It can sometimes be unexpected news, but it's making the best of a not ideal situation. But I think you're being told here that I think with this loss of direction and the Devil, that your focus needs to be on this. If you understand what this is, and maybe not something else. Okay, I do hope that made sense. It didn't really to me, so do let me know. Now again, I'm going to be running the free draw, so if you drop a comment, your name will go into the hat for a free reading. Haven't heard from you yet, Peppermint. I dropped my email in that video, so please do drop me a line so we can get that resolved. Taurus, have a great month and take care.